So you guys, those of you guys who are new, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, whatever. I'm sorry. Let me just back up for a minute. Whatever platform you're watching on, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure the live notifications are on. And if you're not over here on Haps, go to haps.tv/invite/Vicky Fitch, VICKIFITCH, so you can get in on the comments and stuff that are going from all the channels and not just be subjected to your own. Now, if you are messaging in from Facebook, I haven't figured out the formula yet, but half the time it just says Facebook user. And if so, I'll read the comment and say Facebook user. If you just put your name in with that comment, then we'll know for sure who it is who we're talking to. So anyway, hopefully I have gone live on my channels. As you guys know, I've been in the schnitzel box over and over and over again. Many things you guys may not know about the social media platforms. We've been talking about this for a while, is that, the transcriptions that are there. It used to be, that we all wanted our stuff transcribed so people didn't have to turn on the volume and they can watch it. Now, you used to only do it on your business page. Now they're doing it on other pages as well, because that's what they use. The algorithm uses to catch us and put us in the schnitzel box when we're not typing it out. So let's see. I would love for, hey, Tessie, welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for being here. I see Melanie and Lorenzo. You guys, please say hello in the chat. Drop your name in the chat so I can say hey to you guys. And again, if you are not following already, make sure that you do follow. And if you guys have not gotten your Haps account yet, again, come on over here, get your Haps account. You get some free coins every day, and it gives you an opportunity. As a matter of fact, they multiply the more days you log in a row. Even if you don't do anything else, you'll have some coins to reward the broadcasters that you really like. You guys know that I love Joanne Pham. She's the one that actually got me on this platform. Beth Hoover is great doing her, workouts, because I don't know about you guys, but the quarantine 15 escalated itself and has now become a large scale disaster that needs to be handled. But that's just a whole nother topic and another show. So today, again, we're talking about Captain Unity and the Perpetual Money Machine. We're going over the first 100 days here of this. I call it a 100-day catastrophe, but that's just beside the point. Hey, Holly, welcome to the broadcast. Really appreciate you being here. So the first 100 days have been, in my personal opinion, an absolute nightmare. This has been an outrageous time. And I'm just wondering if you guys put a 1 in the chat box if you guys saw last night's address to Congress. Put a 1 in the chat box if you've seen that. And again, if you guys are new to the Haps platform, like I said, drop your name in the chat. If you're on another platform, we are streaming on 9 platforms right now. So if you are on Twitch or YouTube, Facebook, if you're on, Periscope, we're actually still on Periscope, Twitter. Feel free to, again, come over to haps.tv/invite/Vicky Fitch. And otherwise, make sure that you're at least plugged into these live broadcasts. As you know, I'm in the schnitzel box on a very, very, very regular basis. And the other 2 days ago, we couldn't go live anywhere. We were only live here on Haps. So the Haps audience got to really experience the essence of Vicky. Let's see. Holly, nope, didn't waste my time. Holly, you did not miss anything except for the content and the comedy that we're going to be discussing tonight. Tessie, thank you for the High Five Award. If you guys don't know that, you can actually reward the broadcasters with some of that free money you get, or you're even able to put in your own money there too. So just to, it's the social currency here on Haps. Anyway, so yesterday, Captain Unity decided, I think, that we are a perpetual money machine, that there's the programs he instated. The one thing, hey, Lorenzo, welcome. The one thing I will say, that he at least was coherent for more of the presentation than he usually is. Put a 2 in the chat box if you guys saw his what was it, 2 days ago? It was during his summit thing, not the part where he was wearing a mask and virtue signaling. We've already talked about that. But where he started going off the reservation and talking about making sure that they gave his wife back, because she was, he just kept rambling like nobody was. It was just really weird. He's just kind of, and nobody's laughing. Usually if there's something funny, people are going to laugh. No one's laughing. They're just kind of like, what are you talking about, crazy man? So last night we got to see really where he's going with this crazy socialist plan. And it's funny, you guys know I love Ben Shapiro, and I listened to Ben talk, and I thought one of the things, hey Lorenzo, it's good to see you. One of the things that he said is that the only reason he's getting away with this stuff is because people look at him, he looks so feeble, and he looks like he's he would never hurt the country. But this agenda, if you guys are not, if you didn't watch it, if you watched it but didn't understand, because he kind of lulled you to sleep with it was like watching a play that someone's trying out for, because he drops his voice. And you know there's a difference when someone's talking with passion, and your voice changes automatically. But this, it just seems so planned, and so it just, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a catastrophe waiting to happen is what it is. Now I'm on YouTube. Hey, RMA, what's up, Holly? Hey, Mal, welcome to the broadcast. Ed, welcome to the broadcast. Appreciate you guys being here again. Please do me a favor, do a girl a solid and hit the share button. Let's make sure other people hear about what we're doing as well, because we want to make sure we get the word out so people can make informed decisions on the things that are going on in our country. That, if you just sat there and listened, some of the stuff he says on the surface sounds pretty good. It's the details that he's skipping, and kind of trying to blend in, that are the problem. And let's just start with the concept of the idea of, do you guys realize that the average budget in the United States is about $4 trillion, right? And $4 trillion is more money than my brain can process, because when you start adding all those zeros on, it's harder and harder to fathom what a billion is. And when you go to a billion, then you go to a trillion. It's just so large, it's really hard to understand. So not only are we, taking that normal $4 trillion budget, right? But we've already did the $2 trillion COVID stimulus package, which only was that one. The one was 5% was COVID. Maybe it was 9%, 5% of this new infrastructure bill. Another 2 trillion for infrastructure that isn't really infrastructure, and that's what's really getting people upset. And if you're watching my Facebook feed, I've been sharing out some things under the Step Up, Stand Out, and Speak section, is reminding us that money doesn't grow on trees. I mean, you heard your mom say it when you were a kid, probably, but it really doesn't. And somebody seems to be a little bit confused about how this works. And this conceptual idea of no one making over $400,000 is going to be increased in taxes, which is a load of crap. And let me just explain the load of crap. Because first of all, in one of the things I read, that threshold was 200,000. So I don't know if he was just lying there, if he changed, he flip-flopped. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure it's going to come out. But before, I did hear over, it was 400,000, went to 200,000. I heard last night he said 400, but I'm pretty sure what I read was 200,000. So again, there's some confusion on where that's going. But just think for a second. I mean, just like for a second, because I know it was AOC that popped up with her ridiculous rhetoric, identifying that fact that, business owners will not increase increase the price of the goods just because we raise their taxes. And I just want to smack my head into the wall or into my hand and say, yes, yes, they will. Like, we all have a profit margin we're going on, and that's what they're going to use. So yes, they're going to raise those. So even if your income tax wasn't raised, so let's say you make $100,000, or your household makes $100,000 a year, and you think, okay, I'm making it, things are fine, we're good. This isn't going to affect me, right? I need you to think again, because number one, of course, gas has already gone up, right? And so when taxes go up, prices go up. That's the way it works. Businesses have to increase in order to make the profit margin they need, and their profit margin is based on their budgets, which means their staff and their employees. If they're going to also have to increase that $15 minimum wage federally, all around the board, then all of a sudden now we've got that increase. And if you think they're not going to increase prices, that they're just going to deduct it from their own salaries, take it away from what they've got for reserves, they're not. I mean, seriously, wake up. They are not going to do that, because nobody can. The only way that would happen, and I I say this with a caveat attached, the only way it would happen is if the government insisted and put a cap on it that they couldn't. But then what the people would do is either just go out of business, or stop selling that product, because people are in business to make money. That's what being a capitalist, having the opportunity for us to make money, that's what it's all about, right? And so it's very juvenile to believe that business owners or corporations are not going to increase the prices to cover the additional taxes. I mean, it's just silly, right? So we're gonna talk about that first, and then we'll go off into some of the other topics, rather than the play by play. I would have shot myself yesterday, and I say that tongue in cheek. It would not have been pretty. I was listening to this speech yesterday, and it would have been, yeah, I was going, what? So you wouldn't have liked it. Okay. Hey Mel, welcome, welcome. Don't forget, amendments are absolute, right? What? Okay. Yeah, we have to get to that too. I was watching on Glenn Beck's YouTube for his comments afterwards. And what did you think of them, Mel? I didn't see Glenn. I did watch some from Ben Shapiro. I saw some stuff from Benny Johnson. But you guys saw the speech afterwards, right? That was stellar. I posted that up, and I'm going to see if I can grab a link for you guys, because that was, like I said, that was really good. It just kind of said, okay, we got this. We know what we're talking about. We're all on the same page. And, what we have to do is continue moving forward and recognize that we can do it. Do you guys put a 3 in the chat box if you know who Tim Scott is? Like I said, when I heard what he had to say, it was excellent. And then I think it was Benny Johnson that did a mashup, or maybe it was Sean Hannity did a mashup of what Biden said and then what Tim Scott had said afterwards. And it was, like I said, I thought he did an absolutely stellar job. Let's see, 1,000 billion, right? But that again, and how much is a billion? And when you look at a billion and then you're trying to, go from a million, it's like our it's hard. It's hard to put that into context. I haven't been seeing you step up, stand out, and speak post. Oh, you haven't, Mel? That's why I said I'm in the schnitzel box. I'm telling you, it's rough. It's very rough. So you have to just go check my page out every day and then look at that step up, stand out, and speak. Because I'm logging them in there. But 2 days ago, I was blocked from posting at all. The day of the thing, I was blocked from posting for like 9 hours. I couldn't post, I couldn't comment, I couldn't do anything. Hey guys, welcome, welcome. I will all eventually reach everyone. I'm not sure what that means. I wish I were making $100,000 per year, right, Mel? And like I said, you still think you're safe, right? Even if you're making, even if you're at a lower wage, that even poverty wage, right? It's still going to affect you. You still have to buy food. You still have to buy gas. You still have to participate in these other things. And the cost of goods is going to go up. It's going to go up from the minimum wage increase. If he gets that through, it's going to go up from everything. But really, yesterday wasn't an inspirational speech. It was a laundry list of all the money he's going to continue to spend. Where's the inspiration? I found that I don't want to call him a liar, because it feels so harsh, because he looks so feeble that you don't want to believe he's lying. You want to believe he's being deceived. I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. But the things coming out of his mouth were untruths. There was some absolute positive untruths that were really challenging to swallow. And I found myself feeling very, very frustrated. And yeah, anyway, very frustrated. My friend parted out his house because the lumber is worth more than the house. I wouldn't be surprised. Did you see that post I made? How much it was for last year for a deck was what, like $938, and now it's 2,300 and something. The cost of labor has gone up. Lumber has gone up that much that that people are recognizing. This is tough. Oops, am I sharing a screen? I have a weird image that just popped up here. I don't know where are you guys? I don't know what happened. Oh, there it is. That was weird. I had this weird screen pop up asking me to post this thing like we weren't here. Do 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 do. The taxes will eventually reach everyone for sure. Right, Tessie. They will. And now, I didn't think he made clear some of his other things. Like now he wants 16 years of school, right? So instead of our 12 years we have now, there's 2 more years of like preschool, and then 2 years of community college. But I wasn't sure if that was required, because again, that's another expense. And when you start looking at all the money he wants to spend on Medicare and all the things he wants to start covering for free, that again, this 10 trillion that normally we spend 4. Now think about this. This is 2.5 times what any other president has ever spent, right? And so he's using the guise of COVID and the pandemic as this opportunity. But if you're paying attention, and this is what I really want you guys to do some research on, I've shared links and stuff on it. The COVID relief package, if $2 trillion actually went to the American people, and paid off people's rent and done then that would have been something that was actually had some merit, right? I'm not going to say it was right or wrong. I'm just going to say had some merit. But if you look at the money that was spent on pork, I mean, like I said, almost all of it was pork. It was not about the American people. And so it's just so wrong to take 2 trillion there. And now you want to call this Jobs Act $2 trillion, on which only a very tiny portion, like I said, I can't remember if this one's 5 and the other one's 9, or this one's 9 and the other one's 5, but less than 10% of this is on infrastructure. And when he all he was doing last night, and I don't know if you saw this, because again, if what you were looking just to see, I mean, we've set the bar so low for Biden. I mean, truthfully, we've set the bar so low that if he actually gets through his sentences without like looking like a lost grandpa, then we're like, oh, whew. I mean, I even gave him credit for at least keeping some steam in the beginning, but it was not a unifying speech. Remember Captain Unity? That's what this is all about. I'm going to unify, unify, unify. And yet he's in divide and conquer mode. Everything he's pushing through is partisan. It's one side. It's not bipartisan. They're both the Republicans and the Democrats are not coming together looking for ways to put stuff. This is EO Joe going at it again. And the and the virtue signaling. I mean, I know I'm jumping off onto topics here because there was just so much to discuss from last night's thing. But what about the freaking virtue signaling? Now, every person, from what I understand, in Congress has already been vaccinated. So here you are, and we already know, we talked about yesterday the CDC guidelines. If you can be in a room with vaccinated people with no masks on. And yet this room was I'm going to guess more like 12-foot distancing if you looked at it between people. There was like 100 people in a room that holds over 1,000, right? Why were they doing that? Why were they all still wearing masks? It was virtue signaling. Even the behind him, we got Kamala and, we got the Wicked Witch of the West and the Wicked Witch of the White House sitting up there behind him, on both of his shoulders, wearing their masks. They've all been vaccinated. There's no reason for them to wear masks. It was just a big virtue signal. And I think, and I could be wrong on this one, this is just, an opinion piece here, but the reason that they all had their mask and stuff, because that no one wants to show up. Like this is not a bipartisan thing. I think there was a lot of Republicans that weren't going to be there. I know Retta was here the other day and he said they're not, they aren't going to be there. The Republicans aren't going to be there as they're frustrated, but it looks like that's all that can fit in the room. Plus, it gives him the opportunity to hold this over our head and pretend that we are still in the throes of a pandemic, which we are not. Doesn't mean that it's not here, doesn't mean it didn't happen. It's certainly, with the new CDC information, it certainly was not as deadly as they said it was, only to people with underlying health conditions. If you guys did not see that report or that thing that I had shared out the other day, I think it got taken down immediately, but remind me, I will find it in another place. It was by OAN, and they went through how many people were already on hospice care. How many people were this? I mean, the number is so small now. It is not even like flu numbers. It's less than the flu. People that died of actual COVID are way less than the flu. From what this said from OAN, I am not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. This is CDC information that they used. But if he keeps us in his fist, in his grip, then we will continue to allow this reckless spending, because it's reckless, people. We don't have this money. And pretty soon, no one's going to buy a bond from the US because they're going to think, how can those people ever pay it back? There's I mean, like I said, our great grandchildren are going to be paying for this because he doesn't really just want, I mean, even AOC, if you guys saw it the other day, she said it. It's not really 2 trillion that we need. It's 10 trillion. I mean, we need 10 trillion. Well, she's just popping out the figure that he's already using because we got 4 trillion to start with. We got 2 trillion that for the COVID relief joke. We got, and again, not the money that went to the people. I get that that helped people. There's so much that could have been done, but yet a subway system is being done. And again, go read what's in there. Go read it. It's outrageous. It will make you angry. It will actually make you angry that they spent money on that stuff right now. Doesn't mean they couldn't have done it later. Doesn't mean it's not something they could slate. But right now, we did not need to put ourselves in debt $2 trillion. And then this infrastructure bill. And he says, when I think of this, I think of jobs. When I think of the Green New Deal, I think of jobs. No. Okay, that's he's creating jobs after he destroyed so many jobs. He came in on day 1, the pipeline was gone. He dismantled things that were already set in place, people's jobs, disrupted them, and now he's trying to claim he's got the most jobs ever. Well, when you take away, 50,000 jobs and you add 100,000 jobs, that means you had 50,000 jobs, not 100, right? It's really, well, okay, all right. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back. I'm not going to. I'm not going to go on a tirade. Hey Dale, welcome to the broadcast. Let's see. I was out to dinner with my wife. Well, I'm glad you joined us now. I don't give brain dead a bar at all. It's true. Houseplant, right? Let's see. Oh, James, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for the great reporting award, James. I appreciate that. For any of else who don't know how to use those things, you guys can cast those rewards to your broadcasters. I don't have them all, but I have 52 pinballs in action right now. Dale, yeah, right. And there's still more. James gave me a Listen Up award. James, thank you very, very much. I truly appreciate it. Wasn't Trump supposed to do infrastructure? That's a good question, Jeffrey. Let's see. I believe when Trump started an infrastructure bill, he ended up getting some resistance. I'll have to research that, but if I remember correctly, he got some resistance, and then I think COVID hit right after that, and then of course everyone was focused on that. Oh, thank you, James. And James also gave me a great broadcast award, which I'm truly grateful for. I'm signing my EO Joe, you got to go. There you go. Exactly. EO Joe, you got to go. Pipeline had 30 long term jobs, not 30. It was way more than that. Yeah, break down the 50,000 jobs lost. Jeffrey, I did that on another broadcast. Let me make some notes here and then I can do them for tomorrow's. Let's see, there was 2 things. Oh, Trump and the infrastructure, and the other one was the 50,000 jobs lost. I will pull up the data on that and we can review that stuff tomorrow. James also gave me an Appreciate Award and I'm on a Roll Award. James, you're on a roll and thank you so much. Anybody wants to follow James's his pattern there, that would be awesome. And you know what cracks me up? The on a Roll Award. I don't know if that's supposed to be paper towels, but it looks like toilet paper and it reminds me of the, when COVID started and nobody had toilet paper, so it really cracks me up. Retta Moore's in the house. Welcome, Retta. It's good to see you. Yesterday, what a moment. Give me a recap. I think I wonder if Retta and I had the same reaction. Retta, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you believe his stuff went? And you guys, any of you guys can join in on this. 1 being someone save us, the country is going underwater, and 10, oh my gosh, I wish he could have 10 terms. We'll just go with there. 1, we're underwater, 10 terms. I want to know how you felt that went last night. Oh, Retta! Wait. Bretta, you think it was an 8.5 to a 9? Okay, Dale said it was a -10. Melody says it's -1 million. Jeff says it was an 8. Okay, so help me understand. Today I can't go long because I have Bible study on Thursday nights. But we can continue this conversation for sure tomorrow. Retta, what is it that you heard that inspired you to feel like it was an 8.5 or a 9? Because I would really like to know. Classic Trumpers unable to follow the rules. Not sure what that means, Jeffrey, because that sounds a little like you're trolling. First of all, classic Trumpers. Are you talking about me or my peeps? Because You can throw me under the bus if you want, but don't throw them under the bus. And let's like have a conversation instead of, classic Trumpers is like, what does that even mean, right? I loved when he brought up Russia and Putin. Hmm. What did you like about that? And like I said, you see things from like if you guys have read my books, you know that we all have our own filter, right? And the filter is sometimes can be, I always say, can be dirty, cracked, or marred, but based on our relationships. We don't even realize sometimes the filter that we see life through gets pitted. And it's because of our own experiences that we see that. So even when we know our truth or we believe our truth, when we're looking and if we had no filter, like we had no experiences and no things to adjust that filter, whether it's rose colored glass filter or the pitted, marred, and cracked one, we all see things differently. And it doesn't mean people are wrong, but sometimes it gives you a bridge to connect on. Like when Retta's telling me that he likes the Russia and Putin part, and I remember that being a part that was frustrating for me. I wanna be able to go watch that section again and see what he saw and try and see what he saw, because when you respect someone else, regardless if you have the same opinion or not, you can have a discussion and go, "Okay, I can see where you saw that, but this is what I saw," and then it can give you that, that piece. Let's see, Jeffrey said 1 to 10 and you got a negative 1,000,000. Well, Jeffrey, they're allowed to have their own opinion. Okay, you winked. I didn't see the wink there. Yeah, I guess I see the wink. Yeah, I gotcha. But it's again when they don't know you, so it sound classic Trumpers sounds like you're putting people in a box. I, I thought I thought he I thought he at least had some energy in the beginning. He fumbled and stumbled a little. It's not as bad as some of the stuff that he's done, so I was okay with that. But I felt like there was no unity there. That was not a speech of unity, and when he went off into the our racist, this systemic racist stuff, it really made me angry because this is not a systemically racist country. It just isn't. I mean, again, is there problems? Yes. Are there certain things? But there's no history. There's no actual pattern of systemic racism anywhere. Even with the police officers, even though people are trying to identify that it is, the statistics and the data show that that's not true. So when the president does that, I feel like he's using it to pander to, get people to do what he wants us to do. Like, oh yeah, we're in the middle of the throes of this, and so I need to throw more money at this and throw more money at that. He's trying to build the unions. I don't think unions are good or bad. I think some of what they've done is really bad. I think some of the stuff the teachers unions does or did even after the CDC has said they can go back to school and they've refused to go back, and yet they went down and they had no problem going to give in-person learning to the kids, the illegals that are down in San Diego. I mean, the hypocrisy is outrageous. And so we need to figure out why. And if you look back, it looks like he's paying off his cronies and his buddies that had been donating to his campaigns. That's what it looks like. There, it really looks like that because this is not an infrastructure bill. This is not a COVID relief bill. These are pet projects of his. Like there's only, when you have less than 10% of $2 trillion going to to the area that you've identified, then that's just a pork. That's just a pork sandwich, and it shouldn't be tolerated. It just shouldn't be tolerated. James says I didn't even watch because EO Joe was executed last year for crimes against humanity. Right? I mean, he has. I mean, he has been indicted in other countries. I don't know if you guys know that because it's suppressed here. Um, Republicans stood, Jim Jordan stood up. Yes, right, Retta? So I thought that there was an awful low bar for standing ovations as well. If you're I get people that support what he was saying to want to support that, but when it just felt fake some. But I'm glad you noticed that, Retta. Melanie says we follow the rules. Captain Unity supporters change the rule to suit their purpose. They sometimes do. Is that Trumpy bear behind you? No, that is Murphy. If you guys watched my books, my book launches, let's see, that's Murphy. And Murphy, because they always talk about Murphy's Law. That's who Murphy is. Let's see. It's funny. Rate it 1 to 10, negative 1,000,000, and 1 was heaven help us. Yeah. Well, Jeffrey, he's a walking catastrophe in my personal opinion, right? And I think what he's doing, like I said, money doesn't grow on trees. We can try and pretend it does, but we don't have this money. And he's putting money. I mean, we as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we have to balance our budgets. We don't get to just print money. I mean, if I do that, I go to jail, right? So this is not this is money after money after money after money after money. I mean, it's insane. Again, we can't run a business that way. You should not run a country that way. Sometimes you have to put yourself in debt to cover the people and you have the resources, but this is insanity. 2.5 times the normal spending. And that's just for what he already told us about, not for all these proposals. If you guys notice, that's not even included. If you try and add in everything that he just did, another 4 years of schooling for every child with child care covered and this and this and this, it's another 10 trillion itself. I mean, this is a 20 trillion dollar nightmare that's going on here. And if we don't put our foot down, we are going to be in deep, deep trouble. I mean, that's what he did last night. Like I say, he's not getting Democrats and Republicans together. He is dividing and conquering, telling us we're systemically racist and then trying to say he's using all this money for that. He's not using that money to deal with systemic racism. Show me the systemic racism. Systemic is systemic. It's not random. It's not here and there. I mean, there are prejudiced people. There are people that have grown up and learned nasty, horrible things and think they're better than other people. That's wrong and it's sad and needs to be dealt with, but it is not a systemic problem of this country. We are a kind, caring, considerate country that wants to help other people. That's what we've always been, and that's what we need to continue to be. And so we need a leader that's trying to build a bridge between both sides and not try and split the party. I mean, it's nuts. I mean, that's my personal opinion. The urban core isn't real. What does that mean? I didn't say anything about it. I don't see anybody else did either. Help me understand that, Jeffrey. Retta says, loved when he spoke about Floyd. Ah, yes, Vicky, there was unity at the end. He shook hands with Republicans. He talked to a Republican after the speech. He didn't go like Trump did. He stayed. Okay, well, there's two parts to that, and I do want to get to the other comments here. There's two parts to that. What he said about George, he made George Floyd sound like a hero. He was not a hero. Let's be honest. The man that just saved the girl from a stabbing, that was a hero. The bar we've set for heroes is non-existent, right? We've chosen to pick people who violate the law. And again, he should not have died. I'm not suggesting that, but we talked about this yesterday. That allowing George Floyd Square, where there are signs up telling white people how they need to act while they're there, and calling it an autonomous zone. So our government is now allowing people to select sections of public property and create autonomous zones, put up barriers, and tell people where they can and can't go. That's not leadership. That's insanity, right? That is people pandering to the desires of other people, and it needs to stop. So I was not a fan of what he said about George Floyd. And I think, Retta, I think we should have you come on and we can play sections and then talk about it. I think that might be really good because again, and I can't, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Friday. I'm not sure if I can do it tomorrow, but we could on Monday. But I really want you to think about that because again, we have although there might be I'm sure there's going to be some heated topic that we need to go over, but Trump, and I'm not making excuses. Again, I think it's juvenile what happens in politics sometimes. If I was Trump and I had literally been beat up every single day by people lying about me. We know that the Russia hoax was a hoax, right? I mean, if you guys watch the C-SPAN interviews, if you have watched that, you know that all came out. So people that are still trying to say that, he was part of that, the Russia collusion, it was all a hoax. It was a lie. The Steele dossier. I mean, do you guys even know about all that stuff? Because it's deep, but it's easy. Like I said, when you go and watch the interviews, these people have admitted this stuff. I mean, this is factual information that this was all made up. So if you were literally lied about every single day, every day, and people that knew that it wasn't true, it would be hard to shake their hand. Doesn't mean that you don't want to do it as a sign of unity. And I'm not saying that Trump always acted mature because he did not. But I I at least have some understanding of the abuse that he took, because he really did take a lot of abuse. And if you don't know that, then that's definitely something we should talk about, is really exposing all of that stuff that they, for 4 years, it was really 5. And they spied on his campaign. The whole Obamagate thing is true. It's not a fiction. I mean, it's all part of the public record. It's part of the hearings. The Steele dossier was made up. They spied on an incoming president, on his campaign, and while he was a sitting president. Those people should be in jail, and there's still stuff going on. The special counsel that's working on that, will they ever go to jail? Probably not. What Hillary did with the computers and with the emails and stuff, illegal. She should be in jail. I mean, that's the law. Why she's not is because of politics, and that stuff is wrong. So again, there's a lot to talk about. I know we have a lot of comments over here. Sorry. I would say it was his best of putting words all in order. Dale, I would agree. I gave him credit for, he lost the gas at the end. He lost track of where he was going a couple times, stumbled over some words, but I could have dealt with that. I mean, that was his best performance. Usually he's off in la la land, and that's the truth. James, spot on word. James, you are like my hero today. Thank you so much. Wait. When he was talking about Floyd, Republicans stood up. There are Republicans, there are rhinos. I don't care what the Republicans did. I'm not even sure which part you're talking about, because honestly, part of it, my husband was driving and we were listening and I wasn't watching. I was listening, and part of it, we were at dinner and I was listening but was not watching. So I don't know. But that doesn't mean, just because a Republican stands up doesn't mean that I agree with it, right? I don't follow the party, I follow the facts. And like I said, he was making George Floyd out to be a hero, and he wasn't a hero. What happened was sad. I'm so sad that it happened, but the man still wasn't a hero. He wasn't a hero, and he's using it as a catalyst to call our police officers systemically racist, and it's wrong. Our police officers work so hard. I can't even imagine being a police officer right now. I think it's sad and it's shameful the way they're treating them. I saw, if you guys saw my post the other day, someone actually posted that they will not serve cops in their restaurant. And then me and some other people said, you know what, if you won't serve cops, I will not be in there. If you're posting that you won't serve police officers as a whole. So now we're really targeting, whether, it doesn't matter if you're targeting someone's color, someone's occupation, someone's sexual preference, it's wrong, right? It's wrong. And so if you're not going to serve cops, but who are not systemically racist, if you're not going to serve cops, then I don't want to have anything to do with your restaurant. And that's me, right? So identifying that, we're going to get rid of police, defund them, get rid of the military. I mean, if you're on the Tlaib, radar, she wants to get rid of our military. She wants to get rid of our police. I mean, it's insane. I mean, honestly, this stuff is really, it's so left that, I mean, Bernie Sanders was jumping up and down, and that should say something to you, because Bernie has always said he's a socialist. I think this is left even of Bernie. Let's see. Last night was James Woods or Jim Carrey wearing a mask. I don't know what you mean. I don't think either one of those. I think it's a reference to the movie The Mask, but I'm not even sure what that meant. Sorry. Insightful award. James, you're my superhero today. The Bravo Award, the Insightful Award, the Brilliant Award. I'm feeling so good about myself. James, could you please make sure you're on every broadcast I ever do? The Urban Core. Okay. So, but Jeffrey, what do you want to talk about that? I'm not sure what you're trying to say. And now an Appreciate, like, seriously, I'm feeling very good about myself. The Appreciate Award. Melanie says, I want free community college, with sarcasm. You know what? I'll just say this. I don't think giving people a couple years of community college is a bad thing. I think it's a bad thing right now. We don't have the money or the resources, because we just spent $2 trillion on a bunch of crap, a new subway and new things. We don't need that. It's like girls, we don't need brand new purses and brand new shoes when we want them. We can dust off the ones we got. We can keep using them until we earn enough money to then upgrade. And that's what we need to do. There's infrastructure does need to be handled. We need to make sure that this handled before it goes bad. So the pieces so he didn't add that kind of stuff into the COVID bill. he added a bunch of pork, and then now he's got another bill that's full of pork, and that's what he's doing. He's just running on, grabbing a topic that we're scared of and taking it and then ramming his policy down our throat, and it's wrong. It is absolutely wrong, and it's against, it's against what our country is made up. We're trying to stay, we need to try and create a bridge. We need to try and help each other through this. And what he's doing is, like I said, he's going to indent this country forever. He needs to be stopped. I mean, this is outrageous. A super hard award, a nailed it award, a super clap award, mic drop award. I'm telling you, James, you have got to come to every broadcast because I feel good about myself. Somebody's comment was hidden, so let me view that comment. I think you're not allowed to use the word systemic racism. That's probably why they block it. According to Jeffrey, the urban core is a glaring example of systemic racism. I disagree. We put Black people in ghettos in the 50s, and they are high crime and poor education, now systemic and detrimental to Black people. So them doing stuff in the 50s and 60s, right? Part of which Joe Biden is the one that participated in that, right? So that stuff was taken, it was removed. The bad things, and so I guess I think I worded that incorrectly, right? I'm gonna unhide this comment because I don't think it's a bad comment. I think the algorithm's identifying systemic racism as something that we're not allowed to say, right? Because they are, or maybe because you use Black people in a sense. I don't know. Like I said, the algorithms are getting so tricky these days because they don't want people to feel bad and they don't want to do things. But the fact is that a lot of crappy stuff was done, like redlining when they were trying to get loans. That stuff is crappy. That doesn't mean it's systemically racist. It means that something happened that wasn't right and it was changed, and we need to continue looking at things that aren't right and making the adjustments. That doesn't mean the country is systemically racist and we have to overhaul everything that we've ever done. Again, when we see something I mean, right now, we're being racist against white people. There's a lot of stuff that, I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a new, somebody help me with this here in California. There's a loan, no, it's actually a grant that's going out if you're not white. If you're Black, Hispanic, or whatever, you can apply for this grant and you get this free money, but you can't if you're white. Now that's racism too, right? That is racist against white people. We're supposed to not create more division and say, oh, the theory white man has been in charge or has been the culprit. None of us are responsible for what our ancestors did, right? We're not responsible for the fact that back in the gladiator days they had slaves, that they had slaves even back in biblical times. We're not responsible for that, and we shouldn't be. The reparations that are part of this current lovely bill too, right? This current bill, if you guys don't know, the new 2 trillion includes reparations. And that's wrong too. We shouldn't be paying for something that happened as part of history. None of us are participating in slavery, except there's sex trafficking. That's a form of slavery. That's still going on with white people, Black people, kids, adults. It's outrageous. But we need to come together and stop. So we can't pick something that happened in our history and identify it something that's not happening anymore and call it systemically racist. We can't even pick something that might be happening in a certain city or state that might be wrong, that is racist. We can do legislation and make sure that gets changed, but that doesn't make us racist. Okay, sorry. Jeffrey said it came out last week that the data Manafort gave to the Russian contacts gave it to Russian intel services. You saw that. I don't know which part you're talking about, Jeffrey, but did you watch the hearings on C-SPAN? Like, I watched them all. Like, I probably not every single minute of every single one of them, but a good 20 or 30 hours worth. So I'm happy to talk to you about that because I think it's something that needs to come out. But if you haven't seen that, we probably need to make sure that we've seen some of the same stuff. Yes, they will be fine in jail. I think we're talking about the peeps. They need to go to jail, right? Just wait for the disclosure that's coming. I know there's a lot of stuff that's coming out that's going to, the stuff in Arizona. Are you guys watching that? Are you watching what's going on with the Arizona elections? Like what's happening there. I think that's important too. I recommend Vicky watching Republican Troy Nehls. Hold on, let me write that down. Troy Nehls. He spoke with Biden after the speech in the hall. He wanted to help the justice reform. Well, I'm honestly, I will look at it. I feel a little bit suspicious on anybody that's going to be, going over to Biden after that speech, and that's a Republican because that was It was so one-sided that it's super scary. I mean, like I said, that was super scary. If you're looking at it from like a financial standpoint and where we're gonna be long term. Did you guys see Tim Scott, his rebuttal to Biden's remarks, reminding us that this is not a racist country and that his family went from cotton to Congress, during that lifetime of his grandfather and reminding us again to build the bridge instead of continuing to divide it. He did a fantastic job. Did you guys see that? I wrote down Troy Nels, and I will let you know what I think of that for sure. Let's see. Why aren't cops paid more? Jeffrey, what does that question mean? Why aren't they paid more? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, they come in at a certain salary and then they get raises and they I mean, I don't know, you got 75% of the police officers that are available for retirement in New York are retiring. 75%. That's telling you something that they're not comfortable being police officers anymore. So I don't know what your comment is asking. Why aren't they paid more? Like, what are you referencing? Like, are you saying they aren't paid enough and that's why they're racist and so they don't get paid? I don't understand. Um, let's see. Just be patient, my brother. There you go. Share says, oh, but we needed to handle the Kennedy Center for $1 billion or so, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm into all kinds of stuff, right? That we want to make sure that we've got beautiful museums and culture, and we need all this stuff. They didn't have any problem ripping down statues, and they're not replacing those, right? They're okay with that, but they're going to continue to add in money to where they wanted to add it in, not stuff that's important right now. Because right now, our restoring our museums shouldn't be top priority. I'm not saying it shouldn't be on the list. It absolutely should. The history is important, but they're also trying to destroy the history at the same time. Let's see, where are we at? Vicky, just wait, what is coming? I don't know which part, James, but I'm very excited about it. Take care, my friend. Absolute Interference is the second film. Oh, I haven't seen that one yet. Is it out? Did you see it, Dale? I want to see it. I got to write that down too. Because we know that part's true. And did you, by the way, Jeffrey and Retta, have you guys watched the Absolute series? Absolutely. And look at Dale's comments. He's telling you where to go. And like I said, I keep getting in the schnitzel box. I'm trying to stay out of it. It's a Guaranteed Income Act. Which one? Okay, wait. Which one's a Guaranteed Income Act? Share. Vicky Fitch for governor of California. Thanks, Dale. It's also discrimination. Yeah, which part? Maggie, the one where you're allowed to get the grants or loans unless you're white. Retta says, Vicky, Democrat Joe Manchin is pretty much on the right. Um, I wouldn't call him, I'd call him on the right of the left. He's certainly not a Republican, but I would call him on the right side of the left. As a matter of fact, what they would call more of a moderate, which is what, Captain Unity ran on his platform on, which is a total lie. You have to admit that, right? You have to admit that this is nowhere near a moderate stance. I mean, this is not moderate. Not even in the ballpark of moderate. Yes, Maggie, go Arizona. Build in America, buy America. Sounds like I heard. Right. That's what I'm talking about, Dale. Okay. Didn't we already have a prescription deduction plan that was put in place by Mr. T? We had that. It was EO'd out on day 1, 2, or 3. And now he's pretending that's what really got me. Now he's pretending like it was his. He's pretending like this whole the vaccinations are him. He didn't do anything. This was already prepared and set up for him. And yet he's claiming this is all him. And for me, as a leader, I look at that and say, it's horrible. Like, come on. I mean, be a man. Thank the former, I'm not saying president. I was trying to talk about their whole administration. Thank the former administration for what they've done. Create unity. Stop trying to take credit for stuff you had nothing to do with. Buy American, but we can bring these jobs back. Why not do it in Detroit instead of Beijing? Yes, that's why they call you Beijing Biden, because you're always over in Beijing. Thank goodness that you're interested in bringing them back, but it's only part of your Green New Deal. And this is not what's best for the country. Making adjustments and changes is one thing. Trying to create this infrastructure bill where we have 50,000 electric stations across the country, I think it's a great concept, but not right now, not today. Today, we've got to work on getting the economy stable again and not putting ourselves in deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper debt. I mean, I've never seen, I mean, as an entrepreneur, you can't do that. Then we have to file bankruptcy. What do you think is going to happen if the country decides to file bankruptcy? I mean, the world economies are going to spiral. Let's see. Let's see. Yes, it is very good. Nothing to second guess on. Lisa Murkowski. I don't know what you're talking about, Retta. I didn't mention Lisa Murkowski, so I'm not sure. Did I mention Elisa? I don't think I mentioned Elisa. Favorite Nations Act. Yeah. Yes, that was the favorite nation. I think it was favored nations. Was the prescriptions, right? That if you're going to sell it to somebody else, you're going to sell it to us at that price too. You're not going to jack up the prices here, and that's exactly what EO Joe did. Tell me why. And Retta, maybe you can tell me, and maybe you, Jeffrey, if you're still here, why? What was the point of something good that Mr. T did for people, getting those prescription prices down, especially for, you know, for insulin and, you know, there was and EpiPens. Like my son is allergic to bees and we have to always have an EpiPen. Why? I mean, help me this. This is already something that's done. It's not costing us anything. Why did he come in and get an executive order to remove that? What was the purpose? Help me understand. It wasn't costing our country anything. It wasn't doing anything except helping the American people. Tell me, because the only answer I can come up with, and I'm happy to listen to another, the only answer I can come up with is he was paying off Big Pharma because it was already a done deal. It was not costing the American, I mean, it wasn't costing our country anything. It was helping the American people. What purpose did he have for removing that? Tell me, because I really want to know, because maybe I'm blinded by what, you know, by my own filter, but I would really like to know on that one. Lisa Murkowski, a Republican, but she's moderate, I think. Don't know her. Oh, I'm not sure. I'd have to do that. Do I like Utah Senator Romney? No. No, 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 no. That man is a rhino. Rhino. If you guys don't know what a rhino is, RINO, Republican in name only. He is not a Republican. Romney pretends he's a Republican, but he votes like a Democrat. He is, and Mr. Virtue signaling during those riots during the summer, walking with the rioters. I wanted to smack him in the face. True story. He needed a fitch slap for sure, Retta. I do love you, but no. Romney is a rhino. There's a clip of Biden taking the vaccine on January 11th. Did you see it? I did see it. And then he forgot that he took it because he said something about not being vaccinated or there's no vaccine in his, you know, on the 20th when he got, you know what I'm talking about. His purpose was to screw America. Well, again, I like Romney. Is that wrong? It's not wrong for you to like him, Retta. I would think you would like him because he's not a Republican. He's a Democrat. He's a rhino. He's a Republican in name only. He votes like a Democrat. He acts like a Democrat, you know, in terms of what propositions he's putting forth. You know, he's not a Republican, so I can see why you would like him. And it's never wrong for you to like someone. I mean, you're free to like anybody you want. Sometimes if we look at the policies and identify whether or not they're best for the country, that's something we could have a discussion on, but never whether or not you're wrong for liking someone. Okay, I only have 2 minutes, guys, because I got to get to Bible study. But I'm still looking for an answer to that question. Thank God Utah's Governor Cox. There you go. So somebody tell me though, how did that help? Like I said, there's those executive orders. I think we should have a list of those, and you can tell me what purpose they had. Because they didn't have any purpose to unify us for sure. And that one had no purpose at all except to hurt people and make him look good with Big Pharma. And now it's like taking something in away for 6 months and then, or, you know, 100 days and then go, guess what? Oh my gosh, I'm going to give this to you. Like it was already ours. You took it away and now you want us to celebrate you giving it back? You are a piece of trash because those people in 100 days, those people got to profit significantly and it hurt the American people. So help me understand. Anybody share this out. Ask someone else. Help me understand. I cannot even see one tiny piece of a reason how that supported anyone or helped us as American people, or the only thing it did was help Big Pharma make money and showed that where his loyalties are. Because I mean, come on. This is why? Why would you take away something that was already done? Something that gets me emotional is we need to be united. I agree, Bretta, but I still didn't get an answer to that question. Why? Can you think of even one good reason why he took that away? Why did he take that away? I mean, it was a huge thing. I can tell you the EpiPens, it cost us $140 for a pair of EpiPens. And that's a lot. And you have to keep replacing them over and over and over because even if you don't use them, you got to throw them away. So, I think we got him down to, I think it was $15 for a 2-pack. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And that's a lot of people. Um, no, Sid, I haven't been immunized and I will not be immunized. Not with that vaccine. That is it's a trial. That thing's an experimental trial. I definitely am not going to have that. I just don't understand how anyone can't see what brain dead is doing. Well, I don't know what he's doing, Dale, except spiraling us out of control. Alexis says, good discussion tonight. When are you broadcasting next? Are you guys going to come if I'm here tomorrow? I want to know. If I'm here tomorrow at 6, are you going to come? I want to know. I can't come at noon because I have a place to be tomorrow, but oh, thank you. Maggie's giving me the Namaste Award. Thank you. We wanted unity during Trump period. Democrats, nay. That um, yeah, right. Yes, sure. Right. Yes, Dale says yes, he'll be here. Alexis says she'll be here. Okay, you're gonna be here. All right. I'll do tomorrow night's broadcast. You guys better be here. You better be here with your Sharon finger and be ready to chat. And Retta, I'm still looking for that answer for you, my sweet. I want to know how that you're always welcomed, Retta. Don't say that. You know you're welcome. Again, even though you and I disagree, I hope you always feel like your opinions are valued. I value you. I disagree with your opinion, but I don't not value your opinion. I still value it. You see there, Dale even said the same thing. So I will see you guys here then tomorrow at 6 p.m. All right. Reddit he is a sweetheart, right? Share it. Like you can't, again, we can agree, we can disagree. We can agree to disagree. That's what partisanship is about, right? Is that we have to come together. Well, I say partisan. It's the bridge to bipartisanship is what it is that I mean, we're not going to continue. We don't have to continue to agree, but we have to come to a middle ground and say, I'm going to give here. You're going to give here. I don't like where I'm giving, but at least we're coming to a place that's together. You followed Retta. Good. Retta is charming. I think, like I said, his heart is in the right place. And that's that's all we can really ask for is the people to come with the right mindset, which is trying to learn. But I know Red is going to be doing some studying because I'm still looking for an answer. How did it help the people? Anybody? Why did that executive order removing the Favored Nations Act, getting rid of the discounted medications for Americans? I want to know. I don't know how it helped. It was already there. He took it away. Now he's pretending that he did it. I mean, that's like I said, that's like fraud. It's like plagiarism, right? He took Trump's stuff. Buy American. It's like that's what America First was all about. That's what Trump was all about. What are you talking about? James just went live. James who? Which James? I don't know who you're talking about. Anyway, I got to run anyway. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you tomorrow night at 6 p.m. And, send me some messages on what you guys want to chat about. But Retta, I'm still waiting for that answer, love. I want to know. How did that help the American people? Anyway, guys, thank you for all your donations today. Thank you for participating. You're welcome. The one giving, he did. I wish I could go over there. Oh, James did that. Oh, that James. I thought you were talking about somebody political. I didn't know you meant here. So everybody go over and support James. If I didn't have Bible study, I would hop on there right now. I appreciate you guys. I will see you tomorrow. And until next time, I want to remind you, like I